Telangana, the battle for Telangana is our top focus story today, and Uma Sudhir is joining us live from ground zero. Uma, it's been a interesting turn of events this morning after initially allowing for this scheme to go through. The Election Commission, of course, hitting that pause button. And like you said, there's celebration in the camp of the Congress party, but this hasn't necessarily brought in cheer for the Telangana government, has it?
Certainly. Thank you so much, Rishika. The excitement of elections perhaps is the fact that in the run-up to voting day, there are developments that create tectonic shifts in the dynamics that are playing out, and that seems to impact the election itself. Yes, the big development today is the Election Commission now withdrawing the go-ahead that it had given to the Rythu Bandhu scheme. That's a direct benefit transfer scheme of the Telangana government, and that is certainly to be seen as a setback to the BRS here, which had hoped that the monies would start coming in even as the people go in for voting. The problem that came was that Finance Minister Mr. Harish Rao, who is also the BRS party candidate from Siddipet as well as a star campaigner for the party, had in fact at a public meeting mentioned that because it was a Saturday and a Sunday, the weekend, and then today is Kartik Purnami, because of which again there's a holiday. Tomorrow in the morning, he said, the phones would start buzzing, all people's phones would start buzzing with the monies that are getting transferred into the account. And he added saying that, of course, you will remember that it is KCR who is doing all that. And that's what the Election Commission has objected to. Let's just listen into what Mr. Harish Rao had said. Maybe we can come back to that a little later. But just to clarify that the Election Commission had in fact said that that's a violation of the condition that they had laid down. They had imposed conditions which included that they said that no new beneficiaries should be added to the scheme, no political benefit to be taken from it, no political beneficiaries to be seen handing over the direct benefit transfer to the farmers as well. And all that they felt was a violation of the Model Code of Conduct. Harish Rao's speech yesterday that became viral. Let's listen into how BRS party leader and MLC Kavita has reacted to this development from the Election Commission.
उत्तर प्रदेश के चीफ मिनिस्टर यहाँ पे आए थे. उन्होंने कह रहे हैं कि बुलडोजर लेके बुलडोजर चलाने का वक्त आ गया तेलंगाना में. हम तो यही बोल रहे हैं, आप 1000 बुलडोजर चला लो, हमारी एक कार आपके लिए काफ़ी है टक्कर लेने के लिए. हमारा इरादा बुलडोजर चलाने का नहीं है. हमारा इरादा हमारे खेतों में ट्रैक्टर चले, हार्वेस्टर चले, अच्छा पानी मिले, हमारे बच्चों को अच्छा तालीम मिले, हमारे नौजवानों को नौकरी मिले करने को, हमें चैन मिले, अमन मिले, डेवलपमेंट मिले, ये हमारा इरादा है.
So the BRS had hoped that there would be a repeat of 2018, where in fact they got the go-ahead for distributing funds under the Rythu Bandhu scheme, and the Congress had in fact complained. Even last week they were telling us that because the monies were going into people's bank accounts, even as they went into voting, they felt that it was influencing the voter. And if the EC's go-ahead had really happened, that could have been a setback for the Congress. Let's listen in to what Mr. Harish Rao said, the bite that went viral, and that seems to have landed the BRS in a spot of trouble.
నిన్ననే ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ కేలి రైతు బంధు పైసలు వేసుకోవచ్చని పర్మిషన్ వచ్చింది. ఇవాళ ఆదివారం, రేపేమో సోమవారం. కానీ రేపు సోమవారం ఏముందంటే కార్తీక పౌర్ణమి. రేపు కూడా సెలవే ఉన్నది, కార్తీక పౌర్ణమి. ఇవాళ ఆదివారం, రేపు కార్తీక పౌర్ణమి. ఎల్లుండి మంగళవారం పొద్దున్నే మీరు ఛాయ్ తాగుతారో లేదో, మీ ఫోన్లు టింగ్ 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 మోగుతాయి.
So this is the big development today. The Election Commission withdrawing the go-ahead that it had given for the disbursal of the Rythu Bandhu scheme funds to the farmers. Let me remind our viewers that there are, it's an ongoing scheme of the government of Telangana. 11 cropping seasons have happened, and the money of about 5,000 rupees per acre, per farmer, per elections for agricultural season has been going into the accounts to see whether this is in fact affecting or how they are reacting reacting to this. Let's go across to Krishank Mane, spokesperson of the Bharat Rashtra Samithi, and also we have Rachna Reddy, spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party. First you, Krishank, the BRS was certainly very upbeat with the news that the go-ahead has come for disbursal of the funds. This certainly should be seen as a setback to you, even though this is an ongoing scheme. The psychological effect of money in your digital money in your bank cannot be understated.
Maji, setback to the farmers of Telangana, because see, just because there are polls or elections, the farmers cannot stop agriculture, the farmers cannot wait for it. Rythu Bandhu is the brainchild of Chief Minister KCR. But our question is, rule of law in this nation has to apply to all. When Kisan Samman Nidhi was released during the polls, why suddenly is the government of India conspiring against the Rythu Bandhu? Congress has complained, yes, we understand. But it is an ongoing scheme. Harish Rao Garu has not met the beneficiary. He has not released it to the beneficiary. As you know, because the farmers were with this whole postponement, with Congress party complaining to the Election Commission, and since couple of days this has been an issue, it was necessary for farmers that they had a message be given by, yes, the leaders here, that you should not take any kind of distress. Rythu Bandhu, which is an ongoing scheme, will be delivered. But with this whole disruption of Rythu Bandhu, it is the farmers who will be affected.
The Election Commission in fact said that since this is an ongoing scheme, we are allowing you to go ahead, but there were certain conditions imposed, and Mr. Harish Rao's statements at that public meeting are construed to have, in a sense, violated those conditions. Let me go to Rachna Reddy now from the BJP. Rachna, Krishank is alleging that there is double standard here because the PM Kisan was allowed to happen and monies went into the accounts, whereas the Rythu Bandhu is being stopped, and that this is politically motivated. React to that.
Here, ma'am, I mean, if you look at it strictly legally, as far as the MCC is concerned, the Bharatiya Janata Party or any other party had absolutely no problem about the disbursement of the Rythu Bandhu scheme, which is going on regularly for the last 5 years. You're using it as your poll plank also. That is also fine because that is what you brought out and that is what you're trying to implement. The issue here with the MCC came out with the fact that it was used as a specific poll plank right now as we speak. Because here Mr. Harish Rao, an important state minister, talked about the Rythu Bandhu. Yes, you talk about the Rythu Bandhu as a scheme. That is absolutely fine. But you talk about the Rythu Bandhu and you remind the farmers that it is the Rabi season. It is an important time for you. And given the fact that it is a weekend, we are disbursing it and you will hear a kaching on Tuesday. That is what is reason for concern. Because as soon as you state that the Rythu Bandhu is not just being disbursed as a regular mode, which it would have, but informing the farmers that it would be disbursed on Tuesday, just a day before the elections, is nothing but you are changing it from a SOP and a welfare scheme to legal bribery to influence voters just before election. Because as soon as a direct deposit fund is being translated into a legal bribery to influence voters, it becomes a reason for the Election Commission of India to intervene and to stop it. Because the Bharatiya Janata Party also has never been against...
Rachna, you're pointing out that this is something that is being interpreted by the Election Commission as an attempt to draw political benefit out of an ongoing scheme. We are also joined by Ravikant Reddy, senior journalist in Telangana. Ravikant, no doubt, undoubtedly, in 2018, the BRS government had benefited from Rythu Bandhu funds being, going into the accounts even as voting was in progress. How much of an impact do you think this is going to have on the voters' psyche, should I say, the farmers' psyche? Because as we know, as many as 66 lakh farmers benefit from this scheme, and it is an ongoing scheme, but the psychological effect of money coming into the account, even as you vote, certainly is something, an advantage that the BRS is losing. and the Congress by extension is gaining?
Well, Uma, in 2018, it was a novel scheme. When people were standing in queue, so just 2 days before money was getting into their accounts. So obviously, it had some value. But over the 4 years, people are used to that money, and this Rythu Bandhu scheme has been an issue for the last 2 months. Congress went to the election commission and said that let the government release it after the elections, not before the elections or before November 3rd when the notification was out. So the issue has been contentious between both the ruling party and the opposition. But I think it will definitely make some impact because anyone getting 10,000, 20,000 into their accounts just a few days before the elections, will have some soft corner towards the government. I don't blame the government. It's an ongoing scheme, which the election commission thought maybe you can delay it by a few more days. And the problem is, the BRS maybe tried to take some political advantage of it, where the instructions were very clear that you should not make use of this for political benefit. But as usual, politicians, including Harish Rao, who in fact whom the election commission said that he's because of his statements
Yes,
we had
indeed.
to stop this. Obviously, tried to take some advantage of it. It was natural for any politician to do that, and the money would come into the accounts even if it's delayed by 2 or 3 days. But just before 2 days the elections, definitely it would have helped the BRS a little bit.
Yes, indeed, because the Election Commission had in fact said that the DBT can continue even during the silent period, which means after the campaigning got over on the 29th and even on polling day. And that's an advantage, if I should say, a psychological shot in the arm that the BRS seems to have lost as of now. But already I'm hearing BRS leaders, whether it is Kavita or Mr. K.T. Ramarao, dubbing the Congress as anti-farmer and also pointing out to the people that, if you were to vote for the Congress, you'll get 15,000. And if you had to vote for us, it's a multiplication because we've promised for every acre the 10,000 rupees per year. Krishank, if I may just come to you, obviously you have a big chunk of people, 60 lakh people who have benefited, 66 lakh farmers presumably who have benefited from the Rythu Bandhu scheme. And this is an ongoing scheme and something into which your government has been investing, or rather has paid out 72,000 crore rupees so far. So that's something that already stands. This move by the Election Commission, you have already said it is not a setback. But what I want to ask you is, the Congress on its part has also included the tenant farmers, to who they are saying again we will pay you out 15,000 rupees every year, and they've also included the labourers in the agricultural field who are all left out. These were people who possibly resented the huge amounts of money that were going to the landed farmers. How much of a factor is that going to be? I know you will have to wear your political cap and answer that, but how are you going to address that? Because obviously, whether it's tenant farmers or labourers, they would have certainly found the Congress manifesto regarding the farmers more attractive.
Well, number one, Umaji, we are surprised that why does Congress want to celebrate this decision by the Election Commission and Government of India? Because we've seen the tweet of Mr. Revanth Reddy, the Congress president, appreciating, welcoming the decision of the stoppage of the Rythu Bandhu. Number one. Number two, my question to Bharatiya Janata Party, which they haven't answered, was why cherry picking? Because if you go to the Bharatiya Janata Party's official Twitter handle, national handle, they have also tried to take advantage of the Kisan Samman Nidhi by tweeting 4 days ago, which was just 3 days before when Rajasthan went for poll, over the Kisan Samman Nidhi, which was released during this elections. They've mentioned the number of beneficiaries in Rajasthan. Rajasthan mein Kamal khilega. But, Election Commission of India did not stop that. Now, while coming about the farm laborers and the tenants, Revanth Reddy has clearly stated that if the farm laborers or the tenants get Rythu Bandhu, the owners, the actual owners of the farmland will not get Rythu Bandhu. Only one of them will get. So definitely this will violate constitutional rights. It will bring questions to the land ownership. And definitely this is chaos. Congress just want votes, and they are giving unconstitutional promises, because tomorrow legal rights of the land ownership will be questionable. You cannot give legal authority to the farm laborers or to the tenants who can actually claim the ownership. So just for mere
But
politics or
Krishank,
mere votes, you
factually
cannot
also,
violate the
if I may put it
constitutional
this way,
rights.
36% of the growers, the farmers who are cultivating, of the cultivators are actually tenant farmers. And that's a big segment that you have kept out. And the criticism against your government has been that the big farmers who possibly own 50 acres or 100 acres are getting huge benefits, which is not in line with what you are saying, that, you know, it's only for an investment support to the farmers who are living marginal lives or whose livelihoods are challenged. These are big farmers who tend to benefit hugely from your Rythu Bandhu scheme.
Umaji, out of 60 lakh farmers, those who have about 25 acres, not 50 and 100, about 25 acres are only 5,000 people. It's only the propaganda created by the Congress party that big farmers are benefiting out of it. In fact, when we rolled out this policy, we have mentioned that those who do not want Rythu Bandhu can, just leave it away. They don't have to take the money, receive the money. And let me tell you, in the previous crop, we have kept halted about this 25 acres. Those are only 5,000 farmers, out of which 1,500 are OBCs, 156 are Dalits, 300 are scheduled tribes. Should we stop those communities just because they have about 25 acres? So the point is, Congress party, without having any stats, without even knowing the numbers, that actually 65 lakh farmers are benefited out of the Rythu Bandhu, which was not there in any Congress government or BJP government before Chief Minister KCR started it. But from day one, they have been against Rythu Bandhu. Initially, they said during Huzurnagar by-elections that Rythu Bandhu will be stopped after the by-election. It is only for the election. Has it stopped? KCR has always promised to the media and to the state in the assembly and in his press conferences that till KCR is alive, Rythu Bandhu will be there, and definitely it will be there. But yet again, they have come up with conspiracies to stop it.
Okay, Krishank. We are also joined by Shama, spokesperson for the Congress party. Shama, I know that senior leaders in the Congress were very little worried when the EC had given the go-ahead for the Rythu Bandhu scheme that the monies would start going into the accounts. What is your reaction to the EC withdrawing that go-ahead that they had given earlier? The BRS is now attacking the Congress, saying that you're anti-farmer and that's why you're stopping the money that is going into the farmers' accounts.
How are we stopping the money? They were supposed to give this money by October. They did not. We asked them to give it in November, which they did not do. And then it is their fault. Now, we promised the farmers 15,000 and 12,000 for owners as well as tenant farmers, for owners, and 15,000 for owners and tenant farmers, and 12,000 for the landless farmers. They have not done anything for the landless farmers. Now, here Harish Rao says on 27th we'll release this. And that is why the Election Commission has taken action. They violated the model code of conduct. Nothing to do with it. Harish Rao is the villain. Their party is the villain. They do not want to give the farmers anything. You know, the Dharani portal itself takes away land of 20 lakh farmers and they're giving it to businessmen. This is what they're doing. I've been in Hyderabad for the last 1 month. It's only Hyderabad which is developed. If you go to the outskirts and see the farmers, they're crying. They say, we have nothing. You know, this is what you should tell. Outside, roads, everything. The farmers which are landless, they're crying. They haven't got their due. And here, when Harish Rao is the villain, their own party is the villain, they have violated the model code of conduct. And that is the reason they are not getting it. And they blame the Congress for no reason. So the one who's anti-farmer is always BRS. They are just pro-industrialist. And that is why the KCR sits in a farmhouse. And my leader, Rahul Gandhi, doesn't even have a house. He says every farmer's house is his house. That is the difference, That's what I like to say.
Okay, Shama, that's the Congress explanation. But certainly you do think that the edge that you may have lost out with the BRS giving out the funds, that's something that you have gained back ground? Is that something that you would acknowledge on air?
Of course, see, BRS should have done this much before. Now, the reason the BRS is not able to do is because of Harish Rao. And we have been telling them repeatedly, the Congress party, please give the farmers money. And that's why in our manifesto, in the 6 guarantees, we promised this to the farmers, and then after that I hear there is a promise of 16,000 from them. But the people of Telangana know that the Congress party, what it says, it does. And the biggest example is Karnataka next door, where 5 promises we had made and we have kept them. And we have gotten the old pension scheme in Chhattisgarh. We've got in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and we promised Himachal, we've got it there. So Congress, what it says, it does. That's the difference. And here is KCR literally now telling people, I'm 70 years old, please vote for me. I see KTR abusing Rahul Gandhi every day. That means they're losing this battle. Why are they not talking about what they did in the last 9 years? Because they have done nothing. If you come to Hyderabad, you will see they have not even given the 2 BHK for the poor people.
She lives in Hyderabad, Shamaji.
I'm going to take the last word actually to Ravikant Reddy. Okay, Krishank has something to say, but I'm going to give the last word to Ravikant Reddy. At this stage...
Shamaji, you have just visited, you haven't seen Telangana, so please don't manufacture lies.
I have gone to Vikarabad, Parigi, I can tell you Kutbullapur.
Umaji knows the length and breadth of Telangana, so you don't have to teach her new news.
Khammam, everywhere. There is no development.
Okay.
Umaji, here is also
okay, the Congress does have this. Congress does have a lot of people paratrooping into the state to help, and as DK Shivkumar put it, that they are helping the neighbouring state in trying to get the Congress party here or back on its feet, and hoping that they will come back to power. Last word to Ravikant Reddy. Even as this dynamics is playing out between the Congress and the BRS with this last mover advantage, last 3-day advantage that the BRS had hoped it would have, how is the last dynamics looking now? Everyone does acknowledge that whether it's the Rythu Bandhu, that's something that the credibility of the government has been proven at least 10 times that they did get the benefit. So perhaps the delay is not going to affect them so much. What is the position looking at now in Telangana at this last minute, at this last hour, 2 days before campaigning is ending?
You're talking about Rythu Bandhu, Uma?
Yes, not just Rythu Bandhu, but the overall picture, because Rythu Bandhu has been a big development here.
Well, Rythu Bandhu is a brainchild of the Chief Minister. So I don't think it should, disturb them so much, because he has already given 11 times. But the only thing the Congress has an advantage is that, they also promised money for the landless laborers as well as the tenant farmers. So I think that is the only part which should worry the BRS if Rythu Bandhu is going to make some difference. Well, overall, I think I still feel it's a very tight game, and I think the last 2 days the poll management will make a huge difference. Because on the ground, Congress looks like it has gained a lot, at least by the talk of, people talking about it, whereas Chief Minister himself has been touring, and he's been addressing a lot of meetings. I think when Chief Minister connects with people, he can actually sell Telangana, his team, his dream, his party's dream for Telangana. So I think the last 2 days, how Mr. Revanth Reddy and Mr. KCR play out their game will be very, very important, and the poll management will decide at least 20 to 30 seats, and which would make a lot of difference to the overall outcome.
Yes, indeed. The last push by the BJP as well as the Congress, with the national leaders coming in, and the Chief Minister himself going around 100 constituencies talking about what he has done for Telangana. Certainly a close fight here, all of us watching keenly. Thank you so much, Krishank Mane, Rachna Reddy, Shama, as well as Ravikant Reddy for joining us on this show.